Hello everyone, in this video we're going to go over the syllabus and the basics of CourseWeb. First, uh, under faculty information, you can get information about me. Really, this information is more for fall, not summer. I won't be in my office over the course of the summer. So the main way to contact me will be with my email address, dories@pitt.edu. Also, make sure that it's all lowercase letters. Sometimes if you use all caps, it might not go through. So it's dories@pitt.edu. Next, we'll go through the syllabus for the course. You can download it here. If you were to save this, make sure you check in every once in a while to make sure I haven't updated it. So the last time I updated it was May 1st. I'll try to let you know if I change anything, but you may want to check in on that every once in a while. Okay, so if I were to click on this, it would pull up this document, and let's go through the basic information of the course. First, I want to make sure that you go into this course knowing what's expected. So this course is like any other course you would take at Pitt. It is the equivalent of 15 weeks of material in 6 weeks. So please keep that in mind going in. Know that for 6 weeks it is a heavier workload. It is 15 weeks worth of material. So here again is my email address to contact me. That is the easiest way to contact me. Please don't use the discussion board when you want a quick response. Instead, email me. That email goes to my phone, so I'm usually able to respond quickly. So this course, Short Story in Context, will examine the genre of short story, especially its traditional and innovative narrative techniques, its various ways of constructing authorial point of view, its mode of plot, and the relation to literary structure, and its range of styles from realism and naturalism to allegory. So we'll basically be discussing how a short story is constructed, why the author might want to construct it that way, what we can learn about the story through studying that. A primary aim of this course will be focused on gaining a better understanding of our place in the world through the perspective of our relationships with nature, culture, and society. This course will focus on the following. How does literature challenge us to rethink our ideas about our placement in the world? How does our social identity shape the production of literature? And how is this identity concealed? What is the significance of race, class, ethnicity, gender, and sexual orientation in writing and reading literature? And overall, throughout this class, I hope you will develop the critical ability to read and write about literature from a wider lens. You will also be encouraged to develop critical thinking skills and social awareness through better understanding literature and theory. So let me break this down a little bit. Basically, people will debate the main reasons why we study literature, and I think there's many. But I think at the heart of all literature is the idea of empathy. When we enter a text and read and study and try to gain perspective from it, we are seeing the world through someone else's eyes. First, the author, and then any character or narrator or anybody in the story. And so for me, that's one of the most powerful aspects of literature. There are few instances in our life when we're able to see the world through someone else's point of view. And it affords us that opportunity, as much art does. And by seeing the world through someone else's view, that's the heart of the critical thinking process. Through that perspective, we can learn more about ourselves, our culture, and our world. So that's why I personally view literature as incredibly important. It's the way we see the world, and it challenges our framework for seeing the world. If you open yourself up to literature, it will change the way you view the world. So our course objectives are to better understand short story as genre, to explore connections between literature and life, to develop and apply critical thinking skills, and to enhance awareness of operations of culture, world context, and gender in literature and society. Um, there are no texts required for this course. I provide every text we'll be looking at. For me, I struggled to afford texts in my undergrad despite having multiple jobs. And so, when possible, I don't assign purchasing textbooks. So, plagiarism. In this course, it's not often that this is a problem because I do not require, and it's probably not even recommended to consult outside sources for this course. You can if you're struggling to understand something, but what if you do? What I need you to do is quote anything you're using from that source and make an attempt to cite it. I'm not going to teach citation, so it doesn't have to be a perfect citation, but it needs to be enough that I would be able to access it. And by the way, even if you paraphrase something from a source, you still need to cite it. It is considered plagiarism if you do not. So again, you don't need to consult outside sources, but if you were to, make sure you cite it. Even if there's not a particular part of your homework or paper you're writing that comes directly from that source, if you reviewed another source, you should indicate that at the end of your response or paper. Okay, so on plagiarism, unacknowledged borrowing of ideas, facts, phrases, or whole words from books, websites, or any other source, copying of another student's work, using the same work in multiple courses, all constitute plagiarism and are unacceptable. Students turning in plagiarized work may receive a failing grade for the essay or for the entire course. It is standard policy that any form of plagiarism be reported to the university and recorded. All papers turned in are submitted to SafeAssign to check for authenticity. Okay, so the basic course requirements are pretty simple overall. We'll have reading responses, quizzes, discussion board, limited, and a final paper for the course. So reading responses will be the main avenue for engaging. You're engaging with the course. Each response will be 10 points, and it will be evaluated for effort, 3 points, understanding material, 4 points, and extending ideas beyond the text, 3 points. What that means is connecting the material to your life, your culture, the world, the media, or what I mean by media can be entertainment, the news, connecting the course material to the outside world will be 3 points of each homework assignment. So make sure, even if questions don't specifically ask for that, make sure you're doing that. So these assignments should be posted to CourseWeb before midnight on the due date. And these activities will be primarily geared towards understanding the text, vocabulary, and the theoretical concepts. For this course, we break it up into 6 weeks, and in each week, all the assignments that week are due on Sunday at midnight. You can complete them early. You can move on to the next week early. You can complete the whole course at your own pace. As long as by the end of the first week you have all the assignments for that week posted. At the end of the second week you have all the assignments for that week posted. But if you wanted to go ahead and complete 4 weeks in the first 2, that's fine. So quizzes will be 5 to 15 points per quiz. Just a note on my approach on quizzes. I am not a believer in quizzes. I think they're inefficient, and many studies show they're not a good way for students to acquire information. And so I think the reason for that is because it's trying to test your knowledge, and studies show that knowledge that you acquire, you'll lose most of that within 5 years. So having you memorize a lot of information is an ineffective approach to teaching, from my opinion. But we do have quizzes, and so the reason for those quizzes are twofold. First, to make sure you're watching the discussion videos, right? It's the way that I can tell that you've interacted with those videos. And two, it's not to test your knowledge on those videos, it's to reinforce the concepts from the video. It's to say, hey, these are the important things I want you to take away from this video. Take a moment and engage with them, right? So hopefully through watching the video and then getting them reinforced by the quizzes, hopefully that firms up some of that knowledge. Discussion board as needed. I'm working on incorporating the discussion board more in this course, but currently this edition of the course, it's going to be very limited. Probably just an introduction note, and then maybe something occasional, but it'll be very limited. And just so you know, this version of this course is self-guided. It's not going to be highly interactive with other students. You'll be interacting primarily with me. Eventually, I would like to change that, but this iteration of the course, that'll be the case. It'll be primarily interacting with me. And then the final paper for the course will be worth 25 points. As far as grading, all work should be proofread and edited. The individual homework responses, I'm not going to grade heavily if they're not edited well, as long as it's clear what you mean and it's clear you spent some time on it, not text, language, or anything like that. But your final paper at the end of the semester should be carefully proofread and edited. I recommend reading it out loud. Here's the grading scale for the course, and I'll let you read through the rest of the syllabus, as these are what the university requires me to put there. Okay, so let's move on to CourseWeb. You'll see I'm in the student preview here. And we looked at the faculty information and the syllabus. Next, the primary mode from which you'll be engaging with CourseWeb is assignments. So I break this down to 6 weeks. And the first week you can start anytime this course is available. And you click on the first week and you see the activities for week 1. The following assignments are due Sunday, May 20th by 11:59. So you can turn them in anytime that week. You can turn them in early and begin on week 2. But they definitely have to be in by May 20th at 11:59. So first you'll watch this introduction video. There's 2 ways that you can do that. You can click on watch video and it'll pull it up and you can watch it just by pressing play. The other way that you can do it is by clicking on the link and bringing up YouTube. This might be a recommended way for viewing it because it gives you a little more control. You can put it on full screen. You can adjust more things. You can also, for instance, watch on your smartphone, where doing that in CourseWeb might be a little more challenging. Okay, so the first thing you do is watch the introduction video. Then you watch the syllabus video, which isn't posted yet because I'm creating it now, but it'll be posted soon. Then you'll post 1 to 2 paragraphs on the discussion board with the following: your name, major, where you're from, and 2 interesting facts about yourself. This is just so I can situate you a little bit. I've told you a little bit about myself in the videos here, and I'd like to know just a few basics about you. The discussion board's right here, so you just go there, and on the thread that says introduction, you just post a little bit about yourself. Next, you'll watch the kind of intro video for the course, basic elements of a short story. These are kind of the tool belt for the course and how you can begin to study these short stories. So that is right here. And again, you can click watch video, or you can go to the YouTube clip. You watch the video. As you're watching the video, I recommend in a second window having quiz 1 opened. This isn't to test your knowledge, it's to reinforce the concepts from the video. So what you can do is you have the video open, you have the quiz open, and as you're watching the video, take the quiz. You can rewind, right, the video and or navigate back and find those answers as you go along. Also, you should be able to retake the quiz if you don't get the grade you're happy with, and you can retake it up until the deadline on Sunday night of that week. So watch the video, have the quiz open as you're watching the video, and take that. And here's what the quiz should look like. You hit begin, and you start answering some of the questions. You save as you go, and then when you're all done, you hit save and submit. I'm not going to do that here. Okay. Then you would go on after that. So you watch the videos, you take the quiz, and then the next action is homework 1. Okay, you notice these are a bit more than the quiz. It's where I want you to focus. And so you go to homework 1, and you click on the assignment, read the instructions here, right? Please complete the attached assignment. The assignment's worth 10 points. It'll be evaluated for effort, understanding of material, and extending ideas beyond the text. Again, connecting it to your life, the US, the world, the media, both entertainment, news, things like that. You read the text. And this is actually a good text. So we're starting with the Kugelmass episode by Woody Allen. It's humorous, students find it accessible, and they tend to like it. Just a note, in the era of the Me Too movement, Woody Allen has become a derided figure. He's been a derided figure for a long time because of some sexual indiscretions. I personally wouldn't promote films by Woody Allen, but I don't think that teaching this text in any way helps him profit. And so I have decided for now to keep this as a text to start the semester. I just think it's it's comedic, it's accessible. And so maybe someday I might change that. But for now, I don't approve of his life, but this text is something that we can value. So you read the text and you answer the questions at the end. Now, a note about this course is if you were taking this course with me during a regular fall or spring semester, there'd be usually 1, maybe 2 fewer questions on each homework assignment. These homework assignments have an extra question or 2 because we won't have a midterm in this class. And so I expect a little more effort on each individual assignment instead of having a formal midterm. So this assignment should be approximately 1.5 to 2 pages, double spaced in 12.9 times New Roman font. Take note of that. It's not the default font anymore. So make sure you do that. And you read through the questions. What are the settings, time, and place of this story? So kind of list as you read. And then in 1 to 2 paragraph explains why you think the author chose to juxtapose the setting or compare and contrast these settings, right? So why do you think he chose to compare place A to place B? And how is irony used? Choose 2 examples of intertextuality and explain intertextuality here. And describe a moral or lesson that can be learned from this story. Now remember, these are the specific questions, but you're working on effort, understanding material, and extending ideas beyond the text. So somewhere in those answers, extend the ideas beyond the text. Okay? So you complete that assignment. What you do is you click on the assignment here, and what I recommend is writing the assignment in Microsoft Word. There's a feature here where you could write the submission right on CourseWeb, but what I find is when students do that, there's often, if there's a problem with the internet or a problem with CourseWeb, you might lose your work. It's also a little bit harder for me to grade. So while I will accept it if you do it there, I really appreciate it when you write it in Microsoft Word. Let's pretend this syllabus is my homework. I'll save it to maybe the desktop. Let's see, save as to the desktop. So you can save your homework to the desktop. And then what you do is you hit Browse My Computer and go to your desktop and click on it there. Hit I agree to submit my paper to the Global Reference Database and submit. Okay, I'm not going to hit submit, but that's what you would be doing. Okay, so we watched the videos, we took quizzes, we completed homework number 1. Once you're done completing that, after you complete a homework, there will often be discussion videos. It's basically where I explain the text. After your homework, I want to go through the text, read it closely, and discuss it. Just one note on this first one, I had to break it into 2 clips. Unfortunately, I wanted to show one of the examples of intertextuality in this short story is Madame Bovary. And so I wanted to show a couple film clips from Madame Bovary, and YouTube flagged it for copyright infringement. So what I had to do was I had to go in and edit the video and pull out those Madame Bovary clips, and the only way I could do it was to then divide the video up into 2. So make sure you watch part 1 and part 2, and as you're watching, again, don't forget as you're watching, have the quiz open and take it as you watch. Okay, now again, these quizzes aren't to test your knowledge, they're not to try to trick you, they're to reinforce the concepts that I'm discussing in the video, to say, hey, we talked about intertextuality in this video. I want you to take a moment, think about it, and answer this question. So if by chance you're taking a quiz and you felt like one of the questions just wasn't clear, or you just don't think it was worded well, and feel free to email me at any time and say, hey, can you check out question number 6 and make sure I didn't feel like it was worded very clearly and I got it wrong. Could you check that? And just know that I will tell you either, oh yeah, you're right, that could be, pardon that beep, it's my wife contacting me. Things like that may happen as on these videos. I apologize in advance. And so if you think a question's not worded well and you got it wrong, contact me via email. I'll be happy to look at it and I'll tell you, well, no, I'm pretty sure, I think that was clear enough, and I can't give you credit. Or I'll say, hey, you're right, man, that wasn't clear. I'll adjust the question and give you credit. So please feel free to contact me. Just know I'm not always going to change your grade, but I'll take another look at it. Okay, so once you complete all these assignments. You watch the videos, take the quizzes, um, and uh, um, and finish it up for the week. You move on back to assignments and go to week 2, right? And same thing here. Watch introduction video. Um, in this case, as you move into week 2, uh, we're reading a difficult text in week 2 to start week 2. It's called Allegory of the Cave by Plato. Some of you may have read this before, but it's a difficult text, and if you read it in high school, there's a chance we'll be focusing on looking at it from a different angle. And so what I did is I tried every way I could to help you understand the text. First, an introduction video, then 2 videos trying to explain themes in the text. To help you understand. This is kind of a visualizing of the text so that you can picture it. And then here's discussing some of the themes of the text. And so what you do is you watch this video, complete the homework. Again, don't forget how it's being evaluated, and read the text and complete it. Then watch the discussion video. As you're watching the discussion video, have the quiz open and take the quiz. And then move on to the next homework assignment. Homework number 3 will be I Am a Cat by Natsumi Saseki. Just a note, always pay close attention to my instructions. You'll find this with a few of them, that it's in PDF form, and there's questions on that PDF, right? Make sure to read through the instructions before you read the text, because in a few cases like this one, I say answer these questions rather than the questions at the end of the text. So don't do the questions at the end of the text. I can't take them off because it's a PDF, and instead answer the questions here. So always read the directions before you start the assignment. So overall, that should be a good general overview of the course. Also, PowerPoints. I'll have the PowerPoints here for you to review. This could be helpful with quizzes. If you don't want to go back and review the video, you may be able to get a few answers off the PowerPoints. I'll probably also include a handout or 2 on here that's not on here currently. I've edited the first few weeks of the course and they're ready for you. And I'm still working on editing the second half of the course. They'll be available as I finish them. So I will add things as appropriate. Okay, I think that is, I've gone over all of the main things I want you to know. You can go ahead and start week 1 at this point. Thanks.